the rest of America, you want the best of everything. Everyone can look up reviews, and everyone wants to use the best. So when I first started learning about CRMs, I wanted to use the best CRM. And I found out that most sites didn't answer that question. So I'm here to answer it for you. What is the best CRM for real estate? Now, it's going to depend a little bit on your team structure, if you have a team, or what your option is. But here's our options I'm going to go through really quick. Let's start off with Liondesk. This one's quite popular with a lot of honestly newer agents and agents without teams. And quite frankly, I hate Liondesk. I used it twice. I used it when it first came out. I hated it. I tried it again a year later to see if they changed anything, and it still pissed me off more than anything. So I do not recommend Liondesk. But if you want to check it out, you're welcome to check it out. It's definitely one to watch. It's extremely feature rich. You'll notice they have a ton of features, things that you won't find in other CRMs. Things like Facebook Ad Direct. I don't know a single other CRM that does this. If you're running Facebook ads and you're using any other CRM, you'll probably have to integrate with Zapier. It's a whole other video entirely. But if you're not familiar with Zapier, we can check that out later. But this one integrates directly. If you're running ads on Facebook, you can get your leads directly into Facebook. It also does something, does texting. So you can actually send multiple texts to someone. If you get a new lead, you can send them, have them on a text strip campaign. I'm surprised they haven't been sued. That's illegal. As far as I'm concerned, it's a huge violation, and they're likely to get a class action lawsuit, whether against Liondesk or the agents themselves. So that's something to look out for. You'll notice some of the better CRMs do not do that, and they will not do it. Unfortunately, I think it's cool, but once you learn about legality behind it, probably not the best thing in the world to do. It has video email, video texting. I mean, it looks phenomenal. But once you start using it, it's got glitches, and glitches drive me crazy. And I run a small team, and the team aspect was just non-existent. They claimed they had team support, and it was terrible. It didn't work at all for a team. So if you have a team, there's really no point even looking at this. If you're a single agent, you might look at it just because of the price. It's super cheap, $25 a month. You can look at it if you want. I'm going to advise against it. So that's Liondesk. Next on the list is Realvolve. I've been watching Realvolve for a little while. Again, similar to Liondesk, it's very feature rich. But one thing that kind of bugs me a little bit is their website hasn't changed in years. This video that they have here to show you a demo of Realvolve is the same video they've had for years, which is a little bit disconcerting. They're probably not, staying up to date with what's happening. Maybe they had a great product and they didn't want to change it. I don't know, but I looked into it and I decided against it. Again, I run a small team. They do have team support, but it wasn't to the level that I was looking for. So it didn't work out for me. If you watch the video, the demo, maybe you'll like it. I personally gonna put this one towards the bottom as a no-go. Next on your list is Referral Maker CRM. This one's quite interesting, actually. Now, if you like doing business with people that you know and people that they know, and that's it, this could work out for you. If you don't have a website, if you don't buy leads, if you don't advertise on Facebook, if those aren't your sources of business and you are working just with your sphere, maybe you're a super socialite, like to throw parties or whatever it had be, this might work out for you. This is a very unique product in that it's mainly to help you increase your business by referrals. So that's something that you could look into. They have this new thing called Teams. You see a little new. Everyone's moving towards Teams because a lot of these CRMs came out before Teams were a thing, and now there's a lot of Teams coming out because they just dominate. So if you might look at this one if you're a socialite. I don't understand how this could be great for a team because part of the aspect of being on a team is you're showing your team how to generate leads. You're not just partying or what have you. But this would be great maybe if you're a part-time agent, or if you'd like to talk to people a lot that are your friends and you're not doing any passive or active advertising. Next on your list is Contactually. I like Contactually. Contactually I've been watching for I'd say at least 3 years, and I like it. I like everything about it. If you look at, first off, I love anything that syncs with Google. We run Google Suite, and I'm sure a lot of you guys do also, and this even syncs with Office 365. So whether you're running Google or Office, whatever your back end suite is for email and such, it syncs. Pretty cool. So you can sync your email, phone, and communication history. I'm not quite sure how it would sync your phone history. This is kind of a new thing I've noticed on here, and I'm curious as to how it could possibly do that. And so if anyone's using Contactually, if you can make a comment and explain that to me, that'd be great. Because they have changed their website. Unlike Realvolve, Contactually is constantly evolving. And it's one to watch, and it might be one for you to pick up depending on your current situation. One thing I like about it is that it's a combination of the Brian Buffini Referral Maker, and also you're getting leads from other sources. So it has, it maintains your relationships. It's telling you to talk to people, your past clients, and things like that to help build referrals. And everyone, referrals are the best source of business. You work with people that are trusting you right off the bat. It has, customized templates that are automated, and then it does have a team portion. The teams are brand new. I know that for sure. I was listening to a podcast or a webinar with the owners of a few of the CRMs, and one of them was Contactually, and at that time, they didn't have teams at all. So the team aspect is relatively new, and I'm curious to know how it works, what kind of reporting they have, things of that nature. So I'm not ready to recommend this for teams yet, but if you're a solo agent, this could be a great product. And sometimes I look back and wonder how my business would be had I started with Contactually when I was a solo agent. As a solo agent, that's a whole other story, but I used quite a few different ones, but I never used Contactually. But I like it. And if you are a solo agent, this is definitely one for you to look at. And this could easily be the best for a solo agent. In fact, I will go ahead and recommend this as my top pick if you are a solo agent, is Contactually. If you look at the pricing, they have something also brand new called Concierge. That's a bit pricey for a solo agent, but it's doing something. It literally is creating a team because they are following up and staying in touch and asking for referrals on your behalf. So all this stuff is them actively doing something for you, which is quite unique. I don't know any other CRM that has insider sales agents essentially inside the company. Now, check with your states, because then again we start looking at the laws and stuff and what you can and can't do. It is what it is. But they're offering that, and I'm curious to know how that works out. But the price is not too bad, $60 a month or $100 a month as a solo agent. You can look into this. This is definitely a good option. Moving along, let's look at some all-in-one systems. Now, whenever I first started looking at CRMs, I was looking at reviews. What was the best one? I actually literally contacted the top teams in the nation to try and figure out what they used, what CRM they used, what website they used, things of that nature. And one that popped up a lot was Boomtown. We'll go into Boomtown in a second. But some of them were using these all-in-one systems, Realgeeks, Boomtowns, Sync. One thing that I can't cover is how many of them were using their own customized programming. There were some that had their own in-house programmers that created their own CRM. I was like, that's wild, like the amount of money that's involved. But you can make it exactly how you want it, so that's amazing. When it came to websites, a lot of them were using custom websites. I contacted some of the companies that did them for them, and they wanted, $30,000 just for the initial setup, and I was like, whew, yeah, not going to happen. So I didn't look into that any further. But these three companies are an all-in-one system. They're going to provide a CRM, a website, and in this case, Realgeeks is the cheaper of the three. I believe it's $500 a month with no advertising, and they have a lot more features than the other was. It's relatively feature rich, and I can tell they're trying to evolve a little bit. Their website has changed over time, and they've implemented new things. They have the Facebook marketing tool. I don't think any of the others have this, where you can just create an ad on Facebook super easy, send them to a landing page. They have their website. It's a relatively nice website. And then we have Boomtown. Boomtown's been around for a long time, and I think that's why a lot of the top agents use Boomtown. It's just because of the time it's been around. If the top groups and companies are often using something they've used for years, and a lot of these that I'm talking about have only existed for 3, 4, 5 years. So these teams that started 10 or 20 years ago obviously aren't on them if they're in a company and then it's working for them. If it's not broke, don't fix it. And not to mention that it's extremely hard to switch CRMs, especially if you have a large team. There's a lot of data you have to move around. You have to retrain the whole team on the entire process. So Boomtown is big on these bigger teams. And I can see why. I actually used Boomtown for about a year. Yeah, it was okay. It was expensive. So Boomtown, what I don't like about it is they've implemented a new thing to try and get you to join Boomtown if you don't have as much money. And it's a program called Launch. Then they have Grow. Then they have Advance. It used to be only Advance. And what I hate about these options is that they're cutting out actual features in the program. It's not like they're limiting the number of users. They're literally cutting your features. So for example, with Launch, you couldn't lead route. It was just like everyone's going to get round robin, no matter who you are or where you live, you're getting the next lead in line, which is ridiculous. No pipeline management, no integrations, no seller lead suite, no reporting, network reporting. You don't even get reporting in the Grow. You have to go all the way to Advanced to get reports to see how your agents are doing. So I had to go all the way to Advanced, even though I definitely didn't want to spend $2,000 a month. And they really encourage you to spend money through them to advertise your website that's hosted on their platform, that if you ever decide to leave your website, poof, it's gone, which is what happened to my website. Obviously, I left Boomtown, my website, poof, it disappeared. We got a lot of leads through Boomtown. I spent a good amount of money through their advertising, and we got a lot of leads, but they seemed either they're really, really early in the process, or they weren't like real leads, or what have you. I couldn't quite figure out why these leads were so bad. And one thing I did like about it is it really integrated well with the website. You could see who was on your website and exactly when they're on there, what properties they're looking at. So it's really cool in that regard. None of the others are really, these three, built in. That's the biggest advantage to them, is that you can see what's going on with your website. So if you're really advertising your website and you like one of these three websites and you never want to leave this company, then this could work out for you. But if you have any plans in the future to leave, you might want to look elsewhere. So it was unique. Now I've heard of some of these top teams. What they do is they literally have someone who sits on their computer, and every time any of their leads logs into their website, they call them immediately. Like, oh, I saw you're on our website. Oh wow, how'd you know that? Whatever. Anyways, you try and get them converted. So that's something to think about with these big companies. They're all fairly similar. Commissions Inc. Similar product. It's an all-in-one solution. Similar price to Boomtown. I like Commissions Inc. A little more as far as like the program and the website. It's really, really similar to Boomtown though. And Realgeeks, I just don't like the feel of the program as much. But that's more of a personal preference. Any other review you'll see, everyone says the best CRM is the one you use. So make sure you like the way it feels, the way it looks, and you think your team will like it also if you end up having a team down the line. That's something to consider, because if they don't like using it, they won't use it. And same with you. If you don't like using it, you won't use it. And so that's going to defeat the whole purpose. So you've got your 3 all-in-ones. I will not recommend an all-in-one, because you should have your own website developed through your own third-party vendor or yourself, or however you want to do that, and you shouldn't be tied down to a company that if you decide to leave, you lose your website. So that is ridiculous. If you spend a ton of money on SEO, or even just paid traffic, and your website just disappears, all the work you've done to it is gone. And these companies can raise their prices and just funnel you out. So those are your all-in-ones. I want to talk about Mojo for a second. So Mojo is an obvious recommendation for anyone that's ever used Mojo. Mojo is amazing. If you've never used Mojo, maybe you should look into Mojo. Mojo is a dialer, but it's also a CRM, so I didn't want to leave it out. And it has some nice CRM capabilities. It has a calendar. One thing that's kind of cool about it is if you're cold calling a lot of people, you talk to someone, you can add a follow-up or a task, or an appointment and put it in the calendar, and it can sync to your Google Calendar, and then every day you can click on your calendar and just power dial everyone you're supposed to call that day. Instead of all these others, just like, I don't know who I'm supposed to contact today. Mojo just sets it forth. Here's your daily, and you hit start, plug in your phone, and you just call everyone down the list, and boom, you're done. So it's super quick, very efficient when it comes to calling people. And if you ever look into calling expires or FSBOs or circle prospecting or anything like that, you're going to come to Mojo. Hands down, best dialer on the planet. Their data, other story. There's plenty of choices when it comes to data as far as the phone numbers and the people. And you can get that from a whole source of companies. Mojo does sell data, but whether they're the best data, that's going to depend on your area, honestly. Every area could be different. They could have great data in your city for all I know. But for the usually I think most people agree that they don't have the best data, or they do have some of the cheapest data. So it's something to consider. But as far as the CRM, I like it. I'll recommend Mojo. But I wouldn't say I'd recommend it as your base CRM. This is more for calling people. And it integrates with a lot of other CRMs. So it's a great add-on tool. Once you pick a CRM, you might look into Mojo, add it to your repertoire. Let's talk about Top Producer. Top Producer has been around forever. I don't know when they started, but they've been around a long time. They're probably the original real estate CRM, and they haven't changed a whole lot. What they're doing works, and I've used Top Producer, and I liked it, but it wasn't very user friendly. The interface feels outdated, and that's kind of a lot of the comments you'll get. Once you get the hang of it, though, I started to like it more and more and more. But training people on it is a whole other story. One thing I liked about it is there was a little button you can click and get someone, a chat representative, almost instantly to answer your questions. Whether it was available on a frequently asked question or not, they would still answer it. A lot of these other companies, you ask them a question, it takes them hours or days to get back to you, and they say, "Oh, that's in our frequently asked question. Go look there." Sorry, I could have done that a long time ago. I wish I would have known that, or I couldn't find it, or what have you. I just love that Top Producer will just answer your question. You can't figure out how to do something, boom, this is how you do it. What I don't like about it, you guys ever heard of Zillow or Trulia or Realtor.com, the three big beasts in real estate? Well, Realtor.com is not really affiliated with Realtors. NAR sold it on the website like 4 years ago to a company called Move.com. Well, guess who owns Top Producer? Move.com. So if you're giving money to these big companies, you're feeding the beasts that will take away your income. These companies, aside from this program, they don't provide anything. They literally take your listings, advertise them, and then sell the leads back to you. And so if they didn't exist, everyone would have more of their own leads, essentially. It would go back to the brokerages and but all these companies, they're billion-dollar companies. They're making billions of dollars. So I don't really like feeding them. So I'm not going to recommend Top Producer. Not only that, but because they own Realtor.com, they're not really encouraged to make you have a really nice website of your own that you can connect. They still don't have a mobile app. This isn't a mobile app. This is actually a website, just a mobile website. It's not an app. It says, it even says that mobile friendly. It's not a mobile app. But the fact they don't have a mobile app, I mean, come on, guys. Been around for 20 years. You don't have a mobile app? That's ridiculous. So that's my thoughts on Top Producer. It works, yeah, it does work, and a lot of top teams use it. It's because they started using it 20 years ago. And if you started 20 years ago and you're on Top Producer now, great. Have fun. I'm sure you're making a ton of money. But now we're going to get to my favorite, Follow Up Boss. This is the one I personally use, and I love Follow Up Boss. I started with them, and I went away from them for Boomtown for some stupid reason. And then I came back. And when I came back, they'd added more features. They're constantly adding features. They're keeping up with the times. They have a great user interface. They have an app. It's amazing for teams. The reporting, the lead flow, it's amazing. It was built for teams. It was the first CRM built for teams. You had someone that said, I have a team and these CRMs don't really work for me. And then Follow Up Boss says, well, we'll build one for teams. And so that's what they did. They built it for teams. So if you have a team and you're not sure what CRM to use, or you're starting a team, look at Follow Up Boss. It does things that others don't. And the things that it doesn't do that others do, it's because the others don't do it very well, or it's unnecessary. So if you look at Follow Up Boss, it's amazing. I mean, it really is. It's got a lot of potential, I would say. Right out the box, it's not as easy as some of the other ones. For example, Contactually, they claim a lot of out-of-the-box support, a lot of templates that are created for you, email, text templates that are just ready to go, that have been industry-specific and created for your use. Follow Up Boss has that, but they're not that great. I mean, come on. They're just not. You have to create your own email templates and your own text templates and things like that. But with a little bit of work, it can do everything that you could possibly want it to do. And their reporting is phenomenal. I can see how my agents, I can see their average time to respond to a lead. I can see how many closings they've had based on how many leads they've gotten. I can see, where all the leads are coming from, so I can better determine my ROI on each particular spend. If I'm, Google paid click here and Facebook ad spend here, and this is getting this many leads and this many closings, and it's really neat. You can do smart lists, so you can everything is sortable. So when you're looking into the list of all your people, you can sort by their source. You can sort by the last time you spoke to them on the phone, last time you emailed them, last time you had any sort of contact, what stage they're in, things like that. It has a deals section. You can keep track of all your deals. You move around your commissions. You can see, how much commission you're making, how much commission each agent is making, things like that. It's really, really cool. And so I recommend Follow Up Boss as my favorite CRM. Good look out there. Subscribe and comment down below with what CRM you're using. If there was one I didn't mention that you want me to look into, let's do that. Let's help each other out. Have a good day.